Welcome to T Step. Go and pick my Detroit Lions in the NFL 2025 draft review. So, I want to give my take on it. I know I talked a little bit about Talik Williams yesterday, but I want to talk about the entire draft holistically, like everything from beginning to end. Also, give you, I wouldn't call them draft grades. I'm actually going to do it a little bit different. I think draft grades are pretty stupid. I mean, you can't really give somebody a draft grade after what basically you're drafting, giving them a draft grade based off their collegiate career and not what they've done in the NFL. That doesn't make sense. So I look at it a little bit different. I am going to score them from 1 to 5. One means they're not going to be impactful, a wasted draft. Two means that special team person maybe do a little bit, have some impact in that particular area, maybe see the field for a couple snaps, but not somebody the Lions can rely on. Three means that this person is a rotational player, possible starter, somebody that they can utilize, will have some plays that could be impactful. Four means this person is potential Pro Bowler, like this guy, or this person is going to be amazing, like rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year type person. Five would mean this person would absolutely be in a running for offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, like just stellar. Basically outplaying veterans, day one starter, taking somebody's spot. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Just unbelievable, right? So that person to give a comp would be your Brian Branch, who's one of my favorite Detroit Lion draft picks. Just a dog. Jameer Gibbs. Just look, you can't keep this guy off the field. He's going to be impactful, rookie Pro Bowl guy, right? So that's how I would rank somebody being a 5. All right, my first take is Talik Williams. So what do I feel about Talik? Um, Talik, I wasn't as happy about the pick initially. Talik was a good defensive tackle. I don't have a problem with the player, but I felt like when it came to Talik Williams being drafted where he was with people on the board, I feel like we shouldn't have looked past Jahad Campbell. I think Jahad Campbell was a better player, would have more impact his rookie year. We'll see what happens with the Eagles, even though, um, even though I think even with the Eagles, it's going to be a situation where he's going to have to earn his keep, right? Just going to be honest. He's going to have to earn his keep. But I think that would have made more sense. I know he's a Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes guy. I think he'll do well. But let's talk about Talik Williams. So I think Talik Williams has a purpose. I wanted the Lions to draft a defensive tackle. I just thought Kenneth Grant would be right there for the taking. We got very close to taking Derek Harmon, if I'm correct, is from Detroit. But it didn't happen. So Talik Williams falls to us. He was supposed to be drafted probably early second round. Honestly, the way there was a run on defensive tackles, he wouldn't have been there at the end of the second round. So, with that being said, what do I feel about the pick? I think it's a 3. I think this guy is going to start for us at 3 technique. I did just find out he tore his hamstring, right? I didn't know that. So, you got a guy that tore his hamstring at the pro day. Then pro day is March. Will he be ready June, July? Probably not. So, if he's not starting for you week 1, that's problematic for me. Like, why did you draft somebody that won't be starting for you? You still have a hole in the defensive line, and you already got an injured player. So hopefully that's not as bad as it sounds, but we'll see. But honestly, I give it a 3. I think best defensive run stopper in college football last year. I think he'll do that for us as well. I think he'll be pretty good. I think he'll be somebody we can rely on. I think he'll be able to hold down a 3 technique and give us enough pass rush, not a Lee McNeil pass rush. I'm hoping Wingo, who got injured last year, will be able to provide that 3 technique pass rush. Maybe Josh Pascal can do that as well, which I think is probably his natural position in the NFL, but that's a whole nother story. All right, moving on to our second round pick, which is Tate Rutledge. I like Tate Rutledge. I like the pick. I thought it was great value as far as like, hey, this is one of the top guards. This is what Brad Holmes will do in the NFL draft, he'll get a top guy's type position. And I talked about that. So look at this Talik Williams when I talk about other issues I had about, is this a top guy that you're drafting in the first round at his position? Or is this just somebody that you love as a Detroit Lion because they're the Brad Holmes, Dad Campbell guy, which is getting old for me, but that's a whole nother story. But Tate Rutledge, I like though. I think he's everything. He's the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes guy, top at his position, SEC guy, hardly didn't give up any sacks, played for Georgia, got a national championship, played in big games. What more can you want, right? This is a plug and play guy. One small weakness, he only played right guard. Who cares? We need a right guard. So I think he's a guy that's probably going to start there, and I think he's going to do well. We'll talk about kind of the problem, and it's a good problem to have, but the problem that we have now with the guard position, because we have a lot of them. So we'll talk about that a little bit later with another draft pick when that comes up. So what do I give Tate Rutledge? I'm actually going to give him a 4 because I do think Tate Rutledge has the potential to be a Pro Bowl guy. Maybe it's rookie year. I think it's possible because he's the learning curve for him. He'll have a technique learning curve, but as far as the position and him being next to Penei Sewell and next to Frank Ragnow, I mean, let's be honest, man. That's not a bad place to be as a rookie offensive lineman. So I think he's a plug and play guy. I think he has the potential to be one of our better linemen. I think Graham Glasgow does well at right guard, but Graham Glasgow's getting long in the tooth. And he was probably our worst starting offensive lineman last year. Again, he wasn't playing in his best position. But is that somebody you want to rely on as other teams get younger or are young, right? Probably not. But again, we'll talk about that later. So what do I give it? I think it's a 4. I think this is a guy that has a potential to be a Pro Bowl player as a guard. And, you know, if he's a Pro Bowl player, the only downside, that means the Lions are probably not going to Super Bowl because he will probably be more like a first alternate or something like that. But we're worried about that. We'll worry about that trip when we get there. All right. Third person we draft, definitely some controversy here, was Isaac TeSlaa. How do I feel about Isaac TeSlaa? The player I like a lot. The wide receiver I do not like. I feel like we went a little crazy drafting a wide receiver in the third round with the need that we have as pass rushers. The one big problem is the Lions have, and it's actually okay. It's more than the one big problem. It's a few issues the Detroit Lions have. First and foremost, we didn't have a pass rush once Aiden Hutchinson left. The Lions have a historic problem of undervaluing the defensive end. So now we're running into a situation where we're relying on Aiden Hutchinson all over again. Now, I'm not going to go off of too much of a tangent, but there were guys there. Jack Sawyer was there, who went a couple of picks later. Kyle Kennard was there, went a couple of picks later. So there were guys, man, that would be better rotational pieces than what Isaac TeSlaa would have been. And we don't even know how much Isaac is going to play. That's something else that is a bit concerning about this, because he's not going to start over Tim Patrick unless he just blows up the offseason program. Tim Patrick is really good. Like, Tim Patrick is wide receiver 1 skill set. A little older, but people forget how good he was for the Broncos before he got hurt and the flashes he had for us last year. I do think Isaac is going to be better than him as long as he stays healthy. But will that be this season? I doubt it. So the player, I think Isaac TeSlaa has things you cannot get out of a rookie wide receiver. First, I think he's a very smart wide receiver. He dominated lower levels of competition. He played the slot for Arkansas in a bad offense with a bad quarterback, and he could get loose. A wide receiver that knows how to get open, look, that's something that's very valuable. I know we like fast guys and guys that can jump all over individuals and head top and all that. But the difference with Isaac TeSlaa, he knows how to get open, and he knows how to get open quickly. That is valuable in the NFL because the windows are so small. Can you get open? Can you get the ball? And can you make magic once you get it? And he can do that. I like the player. I really do like Isaac TeSlaa. Local kid as well. Came in with the Detroit Lions jersey when he was interviewed. I love all that about him. I think he was rocking a little mullet. I like that. But I just feel like we overvalue at times the Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell guy, when yes, you should look at our team and say, what were our issues? Yes, we got to find the right football player, but we've historically, for the last 2 years, had a problem stopping quarterbacks that run the ball. You got to have enough pass rushers that are fast and a rotation of them to stop it, like the Eagles, like the 49ers a couple years ago. If you got enough guys rotating in, that's going to wear that quarterback out. He's going to get tired of getting hit. But if you're not able to do that, he's going to wear the defensive line out. He's going to wear the linebackers out. He's going to wear the safeties out from chasing them the whole game. So I think I like the player. I don't like the position. I would have rather we got it in and then got Alec Ayomanor, I got his name wrong, the wide receiver from Stanford. Not as good, in my opinion, as Isaac TeSlaa, but a darn good wide receiver. But he's he's a true X. He's a get open, big head topping type of guy. But I don't think he gets open like Isaac TeSlaa. So I like Isaac more, but at the same time, I would have rather we drafted an end and then got somebody on the back end with Alec just dropping the way that he did. So what do I give the grade? I think it's a 3. Closer to a 2, could be a 4, but it won't be until 2026 when we really see the impact that he has. Again, if he blows up the offseason program, hey, I eat my words. The chances of that happening are slim because you got to think about it. It's not just Tim Patrick, it's Khalif Raymond as well. How many times is he going to get a chance to get the ball with the wide receiving group we already have? Probably not that much. So that's why I'm like, yes, you build for the future, but when you have issues, glaring weaknesses that you are not solving, probably not the time to draft a wide receiver. I thought it was a bit of a luxury pick. Again, I like the player. I don't like the position. I give it a 3. He could be a 4, but as far as his impact next year, he's probably going to be close. He could be more closer to a 2. He probably won't do much. I don't like that. All right, moving on. Then we jump back into the 5th round. Oh, one other thing I want to mention as well when it comes to Isaac TeSlaa. A lot of people are upset about giving up 2/3. Honestly, it doesn't bother me because we're about to look, our cap is about to be terrible come next year. So you really don't want to pay for 2 threes. No, it's not a crazy contract, but you got to start saving money at this point. Jared Goff's contract is going to balloon next year. Amon-Ra's contract is going to balloon. Penei Sewell contract is going to balloon. We haven't even paid Aiden yet. Don't know what we're doing with Jameson. We just paid Kirby. Look, we don't need 2/3. Okay, we got to save money where we can because we still want to pay Laporta, Jameer. We want to also pay Brian Branch. We don't want them going anywhere. Jameson may not be with us after 2026. Unfortunately, everybody, if you don't know me, I'm a J-Mo fan. I think J-Mo, yeah, he grew up probably similar to the way I grew up in a way, right? Missouri kid, but J-Mo is a dog, and that dude will absolutely play hard for you. He makes mistakes, mental mistakes, but it doesn't normally cost him on the football field, right? So with that being said, I give Isaac TeSlaa a 3, could be a 2 this year, could be a 4 next year. We'll see what happens. All right, next player, Miles Frazier. Miles Frazier, love the pick. Some people had him better than Tate Rutledge. A lot of positional versatility, played both guard positions, was a backup for both tackle positions. What more can you want? I do think we have a problem with our inside offensive line. It's not a bad problem. We have drafted a lot of offensive linemen. I think one of these inside offensive linemen is going to be converted into a center. And if I had to choose, it's going to be Christian Mahogany from last year. But again, we'll see. I think Graham Glasgow's days are over. He might be a casualty. I think they're going to give him every chance to start for us at left or right guard. Probably won't be right guard because Tate Rutledge is not going to the left side. They're going to experiment with it. Tate Rutledge is going to be on the right side. This is going to happen. But that puts Graham Glasgow in a bad situation because he's not as good at the left guard and he's older. And you're dealing with younger teams in the NFC North. So that means Graham Glasgow probably is going to be in a tough situation. Now, this year, he still has value because Frank Ragnow is not going to be playing that much longer because of his injuries to his foot. 2026 might be his last year. 2025 could be his last year, but more than likely 2026 is going to be Frank Ragnow's last year. If he wins a Super Bowl, hypothetically, he's gone. He's going to retire. His foot is that bad. It's like one of his, like he has like no feeling in one of his, it's something crazy, no nerves in it. It's bad. Quality of life matters, right? You know, you don't want to get the dude's leg amputated because he's want to play football. So I'm not saying it's going to be that bad. I'm not a doctor. But when I hear things like that, usually if it gets worse, that's what comes up next. So Frank Ragnow's days are basically are running short. I don't think he's going to play past 2026. So that means, but you're still locked up the inside of your offensive line. That's not even mentioning the guy they got from Canada who's going to be a swing tackle for us. And I heard good things about how he's developing. I think he's training with a vet right now in the NFL, and they said he's amazing, very athletically gifted. Hopefully he turns into like the left tackle from the Eagles, right? Another guy that was a project that turned out to be an all-pro left tackle. If we get some of that, cool with it. He could take over for Taylor Decker one day. All right, so Miles Frazier, what do I give him? His is a little dicey because he's going to have to battle with Graham Glasgow and Christian Mahogany more than Tate Rutledge to get a starting position. If he wins that battle, he's a 3. I think more than likely he doesn't, and he's a 2. So you could end up in a situation where he wins out, and then Tate Rutledge becomes your rotational guy. Graham Glasgow starts to the right. Miles Frazier goes to your left. Could happen. It could happen. I think that's not as likely to happen, but it could. So I give it a 3. It's a lot. Honestly, I give it a 2 that could become a 3 because more than likely he's not going to start. All right. So moving on. Now we got Ahmed Hassim. Hassim, love it. Second favorite pick after Tate Rutledge, without a shadow of a doubt. Like Ahmed a lot, man. I think he'll fit right into the culture that we have in Detroit. We have a lot of individuals from the Middle East there. He fits right into that. I think he's also hard-nosed player. Man, the dude plays with a motor that's out of this world, man. Got production. It's one thing that we haven't done with defensive ends outside of Aiden Hutchinson. We haven't drafted people who actually have production. He does. 12 sacks 2 years ago, 8 sacks last year. I mean, Mountain West, Big 12, whatever, wherever Boise State is now. I don't know if it's still in the Mountain West. Made it to the playoffs last year. I think he has potential to be a strong rotational player with the potential to start. It will all depend on if Za'Darius Smith comes back. If Za'Darius Smith comes back, this is a 2 because he's not going to get that much burn. If he doesn't come back, then he's a 3 because I do think he has the potential to eventually take over the spot for Marcus Davenport because the chances of Marcus Davenport playing 16, 17, 18 games are slim. And I'm talking about less than 10% because he hasn't done it yet. So if that happens, and then he slides into that spot because he's doing well in the offseason program, man, that can get even higher. So, he definitely, I'm going to give it a 3 because I think he will be a rotational piece. He will be a special teamer. I think he has the potential to get you 2 or 3 sacks as a rookie. And that's because the chances of Aiden getting hurt like that are slim, like he did last year. So I like the pick. I like his attitude. I like the player. Love his dog, man. His stunt, whatever you want to call it, the combine, when he was barking back at the Ravens positional coach. I love that, man. He's a football player. Like, he is a football player. I think he has the potential to be very impactful. I think he got to work on his technique, but he needs the opportunity to play. But I think he's going to be hard to keep off the field because of his attitude and how hard he goes, man. And then I think he's better right now than Josh Paschal because Josh Paschal can't sack the quarterback. Stop the run all day, but he can't sack the quarterback. I would like Josh Paschal to move to the 3 technique, but that's another. We'll talk about the Detroit Lions roster in another video. I'm not getting to that right now. It's late. All right. So what does that leave me? Dan Jackson from Georgia. I like the pick. Will knock you out if he gets his hands on you. Will miss the tackle trying to knock you out as well. But he's a 7th rounder. He's a 2, right? He's a 2. I'm not going to make I think because we're so slim on the back end, and they will bring in a vet. Don't look. When it's all said and done, somebody's going to get cut, and they're going to move into that 3rd tackle, that 3rd safety position. Because right now we have special teamers back there that shouldn't start if Kirby and Brian Branch can't go. Let's be clear. But somebody will come into that position, a veteran off the street. But I do think Dan Jackson will become the 3rd safety, but it won't be until next year. This year, he's been a collegiate special teamers, did well there at Georgia. He'll do the same for us. I don't think that's going to change. So I do like the pick, though. I think he could be a Lion for a long time. As long as he continues to develop, does well on special teams, I think eventually he could be that rotational guy. I think he has potential athletically. Maybe he's not that same athleticism as Melifonwu. Melifonwu was athletically out of this world. His brother was like that. He just couldn't stay healthy like his brother. But I think Dan Jackson can give you some of that because Melifonwu basically turned to a glorified safety for us. I think that's a Dan Jackson. He has the potential to be the exact same thing. I don't know if he can cover as well as Melifonwu could. That's something we'll have to see. But I think if you want that drop-in safety to blitz, Dan is go, boy. That's a Dan Jackson for you. We'll see if he's ready to get there next year. So he's just a 2 for right now. And then we're wrapping up with Dominic Lovett, wide receiver from Georgia, 5'10", 185, shifty guy. 1. He's a 1. He's a 7th round guy. Allegedly, he drops the ball a lot. That doesn't necessarily change. If you drop the ball in college, if you fumble the ball in college, more than likely you're going to do the exact same thing when you get to the NFL. It doesn't change. So is it a situation where that can be corrected? Yeah, it can. But I'm not banking on that from a 7th rounder. You will have to get enough reps to change it. The one thing that can help a player when they have fumbling or drop problems is if they're athletically testing out the gym. That's not him. I think he's good, but he's not that dude. So more than likely, he's a practice squad guy. If he's playing, something went really, really, really wrong with your wide receiver. So you almost don't want him to play. You want to develop him. He could potentially take over for Khalif Raymond. I don't think he's that fast, but I do think he has some of that shiftiness. But he's probably not going to play, and that's okay. Most 7th rounders don't make the NFL. It's not for long for a reason. So what do I give this entire draft as far as 1 through 5? It's a 3. It's least favorite draft out of everything he's done by far. Similar to last year. Why did I like last year's draft a little bit more? Because he filled needs with good players. I can't say he did that this year. You still have to think about strategically, where are your gaps? And what lost us the chance to go to the Super Bowl 2 years ago was our secondary had gotten terrible. So he drafted Terrion Arnold, Enos Rickstraw, brought in Carlton Davis. So I think he did it right there. So he was like, I'm going to fix this problem. He still ain't fixed this edge problem that we have. Will that change? Even with Zarius Smith, I think it would make us better, but I can't say that it's going to be a line that's similar to what the 49ers were a few years ago or the Eagles were last year. Like, I think you need to have a line that can basically from a stamina standpoint, continue to provide pressure. You don't have to blitz all the time. So hopefully that happens. I give it a 3. I think there will be a lot of impactful players. I think you'll get something, definitely something out of Talik Williams. He's probably going to be our day one starter as long as he's healthy and that injury isn't that bad. Secondly, I think Tate Rutledge is probably going to start for us at right guard, even over Christian Mahogany. I think Christian Mahogany is going to get a chance to start, but I think it's going to be Tate Rutledge's chance to lose. Now, if Tate Rutledge doesn't start, then that means they're moving Graham Glasgow back to the right, and somebody's competing for that left guard. Who would that be? It's up for grabs. That could be Christian Mahogany. It could be Miles Frazier. It can be Tate Rutledge. Probably not, but it could be. Tesla, probably be a special teams guy for us. Probably be a returner for us. We'll get some limited snaps. I don't see him really contributing that much next year. So again, he's probably closer to a 2 than a 3, but I gave him a 3 because I like the player. I like him. And he's a local kid. And then the rest of the draft are late round picks. Frazier is a maybe. He might start. The other 2 guys, other ones else, the other 3 guys, maybes, right? It just depends on if you're depending on them, might be something that might be a little concerning too. So overall, it's a 3. I want to see what happens. I think we did better than most in the NFC North, believe it or not. I don't think the Packers, Bears, or Vikings did much that really moved the needle as far as improving their teams. They got better, but it wasn't like, we got to worry about the Bears because of this draft. We got to worry about the Vikings or the Packers. No, I don't think the teams have changed that much. The Packers are in probably the most unique situation because of Jordan Love. Caleb Williams is all hype. I think Caleb Williams is Trevor Lawrence with a weirder personality. I think he's just, people think he's the Messiah at quarterback like Trevor Lawrence was, and I don't think he's ever going to be that. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He ain't got that dog in him. I think he's kind of arrogant. It's not dog like a Patrick Mahomes. It's not like a Josh Allen where they're just like stone cold killers. It's not like that. Not at all. He ain't that dude. But anyway, Jordan Love, same thing. I think he has confidence problems. I think it is what it is. And Jared Goff can have some really bad games, man. He's going to give you a game with his multiple picks, which is crazy. But anyway, I don't think a lot of teams got better in the NFC North, but I think the NFC North is going to still be tough. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. Like and subscribe. Thanks for checking out my video. More to come. I want to talk about the Shedeur situation. That is a situation. I want to talk about the NFC North, whole entire draft in general. Outlook. My son also wants to do an early 2026 mock draft. He's good at that stuff. I don't know who's going to be available in 2026 besides a few quarterbacks, right? But we'll talk about that. But yeah, more to come. See you on the other side.